Hey, what's going on, man? Put that song play, man, while a few people chime in. I was just thinking about, you know, me being in the last few days, weeks, or however many. Uh, I just want people to know that it's nothing personal. You know what I mean? At anyone. And if I still offer that extension, that if you have any questions about what I'm doing or who I'm addressing, then I have an open door policy. Now I speak to anybody about anything. You know what I mean? So I just want to I want to make that known. Today I want to talk about first thing I want to address is uh, we're going to have a rally today, not necessarily a rally, a meeting, so we can organize a voters registration drive for those of you who have been disenfranchised. So I think it's imperative if people, if you're in the Jackson area, man, to try to come over and get there. I posted on my page. You can go on my page and look. Um, I shared it with some other friends, so it's on their page. We don't want a whole lot of people there not talking about anything. We want to get there and get down to the meat of things. So I just think that it'd be imperative if you could show up, to that meeting. But back to the issues at hand. I had a few things I want to address. One thing I want people to know is that I speak for those people who can't speak for themselves or are afraid to speak for themselves. So let's get that clear. Uh, and I know once people start coming on, I want y'all to come on and listen. So as I was saying, I'm gonna let this song play out before I really get to the heart and the meat of the situation. If you got a question, you can put it in the comments. I'll try to answer. If you have a suggestion or anything, I'll make sure that I can speak on it to the best of my ability. I think that, as I was saying in the beginning, I want people to know that when I start talking, I'm not addressing a particular person. I'm addressing the person that represents the system. Um, when they do things that are imbalanced or not in line with the will of God or not in line with the righteousness of people, then I'm going to address that by any means necessary. There are people because of a gag order they can't speak for themselves, or because they're afraid that they might lose their livelihood. But if that's happening in the state from the top to the bottom, then I'm going to be sure to make sure that I address it. You know what I mean? And so, how you doing, Designer? So I'm gonna make sure that I address it the best way that I can. And so, when people come up against a system, a lot of times people are afraid to speak out. You know what I mean? So I was asked, you know, like, why don't I stay in line with the will of God? Well, anytime I'm helping my people, I'm in line with the will of God. And when I see injustice being thrown around because people have a towel or they think that their towel carries a certain amount of weight that they can inflict harm upon a people, then I'm going to address it. You know what I mean? And this is no particular thing. I might say something about what you do or what you've done. Well, I'm not attacking you personally. I'm attacking the thing that you've done that was wrong or not righteous in the eyes of the same people. You know, and I want to know why you got a different standards. You got different standards for those who I won't say bootlick or are afraid of you or laugh at your jokes. Man, you're not funny all the time, and I don't have to laugh at you if I don't want to. Even if it was funny, it's my right to laugh or not laugh at your ill-gotten humor or your idle threats that you send out when trying to be funny. Um, I still offer that extension for you to reach out to me. You can, you know how to get in contact with me. You know what I mean? I got friends down there that you can reach out to and call me, get my number from. I've told them that they asked for it that you can have my number. But I was thinking about the nurse Summers case and the young man, the young African American. I refused to mention his name because you didn't mention her name in the paper because you let her go. You gave her a good old pat on the back and let her go, but you drove him down to the Sunflower County Jail and locked him up. So now forever he'll be disenfranchised in the state of Mississippi from being able to vote and being able to get gainful employment. So he'll have to find if he stays in the Delta, he's either going to have to find work on the farm or he's going to have to, you know what I mean, work at Walmart if they're even hire him being a convicted felon, because you guys are going to try to prosecute him. But then when people come through your secure perimeter or your gate with the same amount, relatively the same amount of contraband, you take one to jail, you send one home back to be with their family. Now, mind you, the skin codes are different. You know what I mean? So the one with the skin like mine got the harsher punishment. Is that not racism? Or that was your opportunity to show leniency to your own kind? You know what I mean? When you arbitrarily move people or threaten people or demote people just because you can, just because you have the power to do it when they've done nothing wrong, according to the BOP policy or to MDOC policy or to any of the SOPs when they haven't violated that. So because you want to, so because you want to make life hard on them, man, that's harassment. I don't care how you put it, no way, shape, or form, man, it's harassment. When you walk by people and give them, and they're engaged in a conversation, when you speak to, and they're both your employees, you're both their supervisors. So no matter, I know you're human, but no matter what type of attitude you have, and you can't speak to both of them, then don't speak to neither one of them. You know what I mean? Man, that's harassment. That's mental harassment. It's stressful enough for when people come out there and work and put their lives on the line, and yet and still, you have no respect for them. Man, you don't go in the unit and do no count. You know what I mean? And you know what? As a matter of fact, speaking of count, I think that I'm going to file a petition with the communities around there so that they can do an audit on the count, on the certified count, because the way you count is obviously uh, not working, especially when you go to H building or A building and you count guys 4 or 5 times and they're dead. They're dead. But you want to punish the people at the top, but you won't punish the people that was there working. You won't punish your kind. Your chief of security, that's his duty to go back and check those counts, not to go back and say a person that was at the hospital or a person that's responsible for Division 1 and Division 2 at Unit 29. It's not your duty to go and find the person at the top because a low-level person who has not been taught how to count correctly, you know what I'm saying? Uh, and they're calling and rushing him for the count. So he or she makes a fast sweep through, and a guy's laying there asleep like always. And sometimes some of those dudes are acting so bad, setting fires and throwing feces and stuff, that you want to leave them sleep when you count. Sometimes your decisions create such a hostile environment that they have to, they want to count. And it's no secret that the guys, especially in A building and a couple other buildings, that they can climb out of their cells at night, you still ain't fixed that problem. So how can a guy that's on a 24-hour lockdown be wrapped in wire and laid back in his bunk and plugged up into the outlet without anybody seeing them, without anybody knowing? You ain't looking at that. The first thing you want to do, you want to go and find the person at the top. Yet and still, you bring one back, which was rightfully so. He didn't deserve to be fired because of the incompetence of a lower level staff or the mistake of a lower level staff. I won't even say incompetent because he hasn't been trained right. You know what I mean? Um, you bring one back, but then you fire another one until he wins in EEOC, and then you come back, you rehire him, and then you find another reason to let that person go. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't like him, because you put him in charge, and he was at a whole other camp during the time when the incident happened. You know what I'm saying? And you didn't even get rid of the person that made the mistakes on the count. Not all of them. You find a major, a deputy warden, and a staff duty. For that. And mind you now, you haven't even thought or even disclosed to the public how that person died. You know what I mean? First of all, you know and I know that he was beat to death. You know and I know that he was wrapped with wire that came from a maintenance part of the institution, so it had to be one of your trusted trustees that got whoever did it, the wire, in order to kill him, and the makeshift plug for them to fix it up and plug him. I'm talking about the situation in the A building. You know what I'm talking about. On the AB side, when the inmate was found dead, was it early part of last year? But it happens all the time. So I'm going to request to the state that there's a certified audit to be done, just so we can see our guys where they're supposed to be doing count time. When I was when I was in the feds, every day at 10 o'clock, every day at 4 o'clock, every day at 10 o'clock, we had to stand up and show our ID. You know what I mean? You got so comfortable in these open doors and these penitentiaries. It's still a penitentiary, man, no matter how you look at it. And you done got so comfortable that you let your guys ride out of the gate, ride down to the next town, your so-called Proud Boys gang and stuff that you as a leader are a part of, or you are a puppet for them. Either way, you're still complicit, in what's going on and all the wrong that's being perpetrated, across MDOC. And so I just want you to check yourself, and stop asking questions about me, through third parties. I told you, man, you can still address me back, man, and you can have Robin to address me too. I talk to superheroes or people who put themselves on a pedestal and think that they're superheroes. And whatever motive that you have for doing the things that you do, like you haven't addressed the issues with all the money that's coming up missing from the club. When I was there, when it first got started, it was $35,000 that came up missing. Uh, Less than 10 months ago, there was $85,000 that came up missing. So now you only got one club. Your clubs have been reduced to one club with no oversight of the money that's being made. You know what I mean? I've seen those bank accounts get up to upwards of over $200,000 easy within 6 months' time. What happened to the money? What's happening to the money, brother? Where's it going? And then, you still have not addressed the issue of a place that's short of vehicles for staff. That is, that's short of vehicles. How you take a take a vehicle from MSP and send it to DCF just so your relative can drive. You know what I mean? Uh, they got golf carts that they can use down there, and you know it. You know it. You can use a golf cart. Or how you try to arbitrarily cross out the current supervisor. Was that your attempt to remove him so that you can have a relative close to you as the maintenance supervisor there at MSP. You know what I mean? But look at God. Look at God put a banner of protection over him to protect him because you try to do some unjust and some unrighteous stuff to your maintenance supervisor there, who I think does an outstanding job. You know, he's brash about how he do it. He might be slow, but he get it done. You know what I mean? He knows that system in and out because he's been there before you got into correction at MDOC. You know what I mean? So sit down and talk to him and tell him what you want done. You can't bark and scream at a grown man or a grown woman and think that the tone of your voice or the decibel of your voice is a fear factor, is a place for fear. Man, we don't instill fear in a place that's already full of fear. You know what I mean? At any second, man, MDOC is a powder keg. You know it, I know it, and everybody else know it. You know. But let me move down to just stick with kind of like I'm gonna stay in line with the racism today. I'm gonna move down here to CMCF, and soon I'll be going to SMCI. There was a lady that worked at training, African American. You know, it was alleged that she did some wrongdoing. They let her go, put her name all in the paper and on TV. Exactly 1 week later, 1 week later, a lady that worked for Miss Kelly, the administrator, she was her underling down there. She worked for her, and she ended up got caught. She ended up getting caught red-handed with the guy. Uh, Price, they locked him up, which they never should have locked him up. You know what I mean? They should have put him in a separate area by himself temporarily until he went to medical or for just for real purposes. But under no circumstance under MDOC policy should he have ever been locked up in segregation because of what was going on or because of something that there's no way he can give consent to an outside person for anything that they participate in. Yet and still, she doesn't get charged. She lets go. But here's the catch. Here's the catch. 4 days later, she comes in under the cloak of darkness. They didn't take her ID. They just let her go. They terminated her on the spot when she was found to be in a relationship with this guy Price. They let her go on the spot. It wasn't 4 days later till she drove back out there with her same ID, knowing that it was going to, knowing she drove through the gate every day, knowing that it was going to be another person at the gate, other than the normal person. You know, it was a swing shift day. She went out there after dark and drove and tried to go through the U part to get over to where that person was, to where he was over in Quickbed. And got caught red-handed again. Nothing happened that time. Nothing happened that time. Whatever she dropped off, maybe, or if she dropped anything off, that's fine. She leave again, and it's on the camera. She still hasn't been charged. She still, and then another 1 week later, she gets caught. She gets caught again, and she's addressed by Superintendent Hunt, caught red-handed all the way over to the U after you have been terminated. And your picture, well, you didn't even put her picture up because you didn't even do anything to her. You just allowed her to resign, so to speak. You terminated her on the spot, but you allowed her to do, quote unquote, a resignation. She's caught again going through the gates, and you just let her go. You don't charge her anything. You just said, well, shake down her car, and you give her a stern warning and say, next time you come out here, I'm going to charge you. First of all, you already got caught into an intimate relationship with an inmate. They got all your texts in your phone and everything, or everything that you brought him in the package that you brought to him there at CMCL. You got telephone conversation that you don't went back. You know what I mean? And so it's like this black and white thing, man, just keep bothering me and shaking me. You got a guy that doesn't have you terminate me because you allegedly you said that I was insufficient in my job duties. Except here's the thing, I received 25 on both my eval. You You know what I mean? My last two, 23, 24 on the rest of them. When the max score that you can get is a 25. Yet and still, you come back, you got a guy that you moved over from education that doesn't have his degree, that's also formerly incarcerated, that also you're trying to place into, you got him acting as interim director of chaplaincy service. You wouldn't even move me up to chaplain one because I didn't have my degree. I had to get my certification from the National Chaplaincy Association out of New York to show you that I had been in a year's worth of training with them and got certified as a chaplain. I already had my ordination, you know what I mean, 2 years before I even applied for the job. This person, you move him in, he doesn't have an ordination, doesn't have any type of degree. Only thing he has is a GED. Doesn't even have a high school diploma. Because you and him attend the same church. You know what I mean? Nobody's saying that. Even when you was downtown, Mr. H, when you busted the woman that used to come out there with Lighthouse Church, uh, and attended church with you, but you don't charge her anything because she attended your church. So are we doing the race thing, the religious thing, or what is it? What is it? Because African Americans are constantly getting caught up in situations to where you're blaming them and you're firing them and you're just arbitrarily punishing them and putting this mark, and they will have to wait to go to the grand jury. You know what I mean? Yet and still, every time somebody, uh, you're not doing anything. So I just want to know: is racism that bad? Is it so hard to see us as equal after so many years of hardship? Man, we're the only people, man, that's been through that was forced over here in this country, and that built this country with 400 years of forced labor. Never got paid anything. Never got anything for our home. And you know, when you think about the Chinese, man, when they dropped the bomb on Hiroshima, they still paying them. They're giving them money. They brought them over here, gave them their land out west in California, in every city. You know, you see Chinatown and everything, and they're getting money to start businesses. The Irish immigrants, same thing. You're giving them money and everything to start their own business. But you don't even want to give us so-called reparation. Man, just treat us fairly. You ain't got to give us a damn thing. Just treat us fairly in all situations. Man, that's all I ask. On the job, off the job, or whatever. Because because you and his or her skin color is the same thing. You refuse to prosecute, and you give them leniency and grace. You know what I'm saying? So the only thing I'm asking, man, is that you treat my people the same way in whatever capacity they work in, man. In whatever capacity that they work in. I think, man, that we're being, as taxpayers of Mississippi, we're being drained. We're pouring money into a system. We're trying to put a band-aid on the system, man, where the system is already so corrupt and destroyed. Because the thing is, like I told you, if you look at the hierarchy at every institution, we're 90% African American inmates, except SMCI, but at CMCL and up in the Delta at Parchman, we're 90% of the employees, yet and still all of the exec staff, meaning the superintendent, deputy superintendent, and anybody who has a say in the matter, is white. So you telling me that there are no qualified African Americans that can hold that position, that can be a superintendent? When it is, you don't like the way they do it, and you arbitrarily move them out. You know what I mean? Superintendent Morris and I had our differences and everything, but I thought that he was doing a great job. You know, one thing about it, he wasn't abusing the money or mismanaging or wasting funds. You know what I'm saying? He didn't bring somebody that worked for MadCorp over uh, to be his secretary when he had two competent secretaries and Miss Durr and Miss Reddick that was there working for him. So he didn't need somebody, a third party, to sit inside with them to dictate and take minutes at the meetings or anything. You know, I thought Mr. Chambers was doing a hell of a job and following the commissioner's vision down here at CMCL. Yet and still, you had to bring somebody from downtown to put over him. You know what I mean? Because you feel like we're not capable of running our own institution. You know what I mean? So I think that we need to take back, man, as citizens. You know, we're going to be discussing some of those things today when we meet um, at this. We're having a voters conversation about disenfranchisement and some of the other things that are going on within the state, especially with the treatment of our incarcerated people, employees, and inmates and offenders. I hate the word inmate and offenders. So we're going to meet today and we're going to be discussing how we can talk to some of the legislators about, like Senator Barnett, Representative Barnett, you know, who's over that area and is the chairman of the MDOC. Man, we're pouring water into a well as if we're going to fill it up. It's highly impossible. It's highly impossible. If you look at the budget for MDOC, man, we've been in a deficit. We've been running on a deficit since I've been there, before I came and since I've been there. But we're making all this money off all the clubs that they used to have, which they disbanded them and created one central club at each one, which I think that it was kind of like an opportunity for somebody higher up to take money and mismanage it on their own. I think it was their opportunities for, you know, like, let's just say, let me give you another situation. It's against the law for an officer to take anything made or raised at MDOC for his own personal, to give it or to take it and sell it to somebody else or to give it to somebody else without prior approval. Man, I watched the 18-wheeler full of watermelons go out and nobody knows where, nobody even questioned it, just because you had the power to say, okay, take her here. I seen truckloads of vegetables go out when they were picking them. They couldn't pick peas, greens, and okra fast enough and squash fast enough to get them out of there. You know what I mean? And upper level staff was taking them out instantly, instantly. Yet and still, when you look at the food trays inside the prison, they were and are horrible. Uh, I seen, like, we had a dog program at CMCL. You got the staff taking money from inmates' family to buy feed for the dog. You can't. The inmate's family cannot give a staff at MDOC any money for any program that he's involved in. You can donate it through one of the churches. You can donate it through MDOC. You know what I mean? But you can't personally give it to an officer to buy food for that inmate, buy food for that pet that he or she is raising. It's against the law, man. And so wrong is wrong and wrong is wrong. So who's holding those people accountable? Who's holding those people accountable? When they clearly know and can see, man, just ask for the invoice. Just ask for an invoice. You got inmates, man, you getting money. Each institution get money for inmates that are housed there. You got inmates that are supposed to be at CMCF or Parchment, but they're at a whole nother satellite or a county jail. But they got them on the roster at Parchment just so they can say the numbers are higher than they really are. When the official count is actually, when they call it the official count, let's say it's supposed to be 27 at Parchment. I guarantee you it's only about 2,400 people. 3 of them are ghost people or ghost bunks. 300 on any given Sunday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Ask for an audit. You got loved ones that are showing that your loved ones that are showing say, well, when I look in the system, so many times people call me and say, well, they say he's here. When I go look for him to where he's supposed to be assigned, people say, man, he ain't never been here. He never was here. Not just once, several times when people call looking for their loved one. So you either got them at Walnut Grove or you got them at another institution. You got them at Jefferson County. You got them at Greene County, but they're not at CMCL, they're not at SMCI, they're not at Parchman. So are they portraying that it's more offenders there at these institutions because they get a certain amount of money per inmate each day from the state? So are they extrapolating the numbers just to say we got 3,000 here when there's only 2,700? You do that at 20, we just gonna say $20 a day. It's more than that. But we just say $20 a day. If you had 300 inmates who are supposed to be at an institution and you're getting $20 a day for this person every day that you get every month, for a check every month for each institution that you have inmates there. But you got 300 who are not there, that are on count there, that you're turning in as your official count through the state. Man, do an audit. This ain't rocket science. Do an audit and look at it. You know what I mean? And if you got any questions, man, you got any questions or concern, man, just let me know. Just let me know. What's up, Don? Still get my Sam Clifton on. Yeah, so it's just a lot of things that are going on, man, at these institutions that I think people need to take back up and take a bigger microscope and fine tune it and zoom in on the problem. I always tell you, man, every time, follow the money. Follow the money. Man, follow the money. When you follow the money, you'll find the crook. You know what I mean? Or how they say, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. You know, in correctional terms, that means the one in charge gets the kickback. You know what I mean? So when you can take your personal car, or and drop your kids off at daycare, that money that you done spend on the state gas card that the taxpayers are paying for every day, then you just committed a crime. When your wife is a convicted felon and she's walking around with a gun on her hip, then you and her have just committed a crime. You, because you're the chief of security and you're complicit in the matter, and you know that she's a convicted felon. You know what I mean? So you ain't doing your job. That's the first thing. You know what I mean? So, man, I just asked, man, who's in charge? Who's in charge? Because it's certainly not the people at that institution, man. It's nepotism, or how can I say it? Reconstructed the slave master mentality. You know what I mean? Those employees and offenders are not your slave. You know what I mean? They're your employees for you to supervise, not for you to be a tyrant or a dictator over. They're your employees, not for you to oppress because they don't like what you're doing outside of policy. You know what I mean? And so, like I say, man, pride comes before destruction. Uh, I won't stop until I get it into the right hand. I won't. And there's a system here that'll tell you, I won't until I can get it in the right hand, and so until the right people can hear it. Yeah, I'm not screaming today, but I'm mad. Yeah, I get offended, man, when you think that you're not even from down here, man. You're not even from, how can I say it, the Mississippi Delta. Not really even from Mississippi. Yet and still, you think that you can come here and put on the mask of insecurity or the mask of racism and just do our people any kind of way. You know what I mean? Uh, Man, you can't. If you keep sweeping dirt on the road, pretty soon you're gonna have a pile that you won't even be able to walk over. So just keep sweeping it on the road. When they pull back the layers, man, they'll find all the trash that you've been hiding and perpetrating under the color of justice, or under the color of law, 18 U.S.C. 241. The Fed don't care. The Fed can indict a ham sandwich. So it damn sure don't care about a deputy superintendent or a superintendent that's committing wrong or harm under the color of law. And when you get through paying everybody out for the wrong that you're doing, you know what I mean? They're just going to move you to another institution and give you a greater job. You can commit a wrong. You can commit a wrong and go to a whole nother institution like ain't nothing happened. Oh, there you go, Billy Bob. You did all right. You did him just right. We got you. We'll take care of you. Yeah, just sit on over here. Count the sheets for me. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's high time, man. It's high time. We're from that area, man. That's our area. It's not yours. You're just passing through, you know. But I'm gonna try to make sure that you get gone. You know what I mean? Man, y'all come join us for the conversation today about voters registration and about the corrupt injustice system of MDOC. You know, we'll be there today. Jackson, look on my page. Where is that? 195 Raymond Road. Yep. Be there, be square. Y'all take care.